Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. Unfortunately, we're here. We are here, unfortunately, as much as I tried to avoid it. One day late. I didn't do my reaction yesterday. Luckily or unluckily, family stuff came in the way, so I actually missed the second half. It looks like it was a good thing, to be honest. But yeah, I didn't want to be venting on my own today, so I've invited someone that I'm sure if you're on Twitter, on the Twitter sphere, you must have heard about. And now he's got his own pod as well, which I hope he's going to be plugging whilst we talk. It's Gianni, also known as Source GMP. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Happy to be here.
No, I'm happy to have you here, CEO of InterTwitter, as you've put down there.
Yeah, I just got elected. Couldn't accept that title, so I always appreciate all the votes, people. So
yeah, he's a humble king. He's a very humble king, Gianni. But man, there's a lot to talk about. Let me give a quick shout out to the people that came in early here in the chat. Jono here from Australia coming in. Good morning. And to the chat, jumping in before work. Mentality of this team is just so disappointing, but not surprising. Yeah, that's one of the topics we're definitely going to be covering. Ahmad says, Sai, nothing else to say but Sai, exactly. Ami says hi as well. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, before we get into it all, please make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And also, we will be picking the winner of the Inter kit as well in the coming moments. Anthony from Inter Worldwide is also here. What's up, Anthony? Good to see you, brother. Another Inter content creator that obviously you guys need to make sure you check out. Yeah, Mighty Mao. That's the perfect emoji. I probably should have used that emoji, to be honest, to put her in the title. But let's get into it, Gianni, bro. I know you've talked about it in the in your pod. Probably you talked about it on Twitter Spaces, as you often do. But you know, it's a day. We're a day after right now, after the disaster, the disgusting disaster of Bologna. Give me, has your view changed on yesterday, or are you just as disgusted as you were yesterday?
No, I'm definitely still as disgusted as I was yesterday. I just don't understand how we seem to put ourselves in these situations like week in and week out where we play to the level of the competition that we're going up against. Like it makes no sense to me why we can get amped up for Porto, but then we go to Bologna and we just get bullied all up and down the field. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's and this is Inzaghi's Inter. This is Inzaghi's Inter, isn't it? Like, this is not anything new. We're well beyond a year. We're more than a year and a half into the Inzaghi project, and we're still seeing exactly the same problems that we were seeing at the beginning. There hasn't been any improvement on certain things, like the mentality, like the, being consistent. And this tweet here from Sky Sport, or this graphic from Sky Sport, is the perfect graphic for that. Inter Napoli 1-0. 3 days later, first team to beat Napoli this year. 3 days later, you go away to Monza, you bottle a 2-1 lead, 2-2. Then you beat Milan 3-0, Super Cup. You bring it home, nice high. Come back 5 days later, you lose at home to Empoli, and then you beat Milan again 1-0. Nice, whatever. Got the performance, got the result, and then again next game, Sampdoria, probably the worst team in Serie A this year. You go away, can't even score a goal, and then, as you said, Porto, amazing historic performance for us in the Champions League, and then you go to Bologna, and again Bologna away, just like last year, and you bottle it, and you lose 1-0. It's I'm seeing the same stuff, Gianni. Like, if it so I can't remember who was talking about this. Someone said, imagine if Napoli weren't doing what Napoli were doing, and this was a Scudetto race. We would be doing. This was exactly what we were doing last year, wasn't it? This is the exact. It's only because Napoli are looking like they're playing. Well, they are playing a different campionato to everyone else. But this is exactly what was happening last season, and it seems like Inzaghi, the players, no one's learned from their experience last year. This is the frustrating part.
Yeah, it's the most frustrating thing for sure, especially when you look at when we played them in November, we won 6-1. And then I don't like using the pitch as an excuse because obviously Bologna were able to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
But to lose 1-0 there and not really get clear pressure on Skorupski, who, he has, an error in his game, like a bouncing ball in the 18, maybe you get a low shot. Like, why were we not able to do anything to really make it difficult for Bologna at all in any way, shape, or form? And then, the substitutions I didn't understand, like at certain times, and not starting Barella, knowing the struggles we have with Bologna away. I get resting him, but I also don't, because like we had Lecce at home, so I would much rather have rested him for a home game than an away.
I agree, and especially in a game like this, when once I tweeted, once you saw the weather in Bologna, once you saw that rain, you knew the pitch was gonna be shit. You knew it was gonna be like, the way to win those games is either you're like so supremely technical than the other team that even the rain can't stop you, but this team isn't that.
Nope.
So you have to put it on like the garra, on the grinta. Like that's the only way you're gonna win a game in the rain away. So Barella is that guy you need, and Mkhitaryan, I just don't understand how this guy keeps playing him again and again and again. Like even against Porto, he was clearly giving you signs that this guy is tired. Yeah. So out of Barella and Mkhitaryan, you choose to rest Barella, who, yes, he also needs rest, but out of the two, is clearly the 33-year-old that I would say needs rest. And yeah, as you said, you've got Lecce at home. That's probably the game. If you're going to rest Barella, it's probably that game rather than away at Bologna. But at the end of the day, though, Gianni, in terms of like personnel, it just did not look like whoever played yesterday was going to get the result for Inter, to be honest. Like, it was just flat all around. It was one of the, in terms of effort, attitude all around, I think it was one of the worst performances of the season. So even if he started Dzeko instead of Lukaku, even if he had Di Marco instead of Gosens, well, Gosens was actually probably, I don't know, for me, man of the match.
Probably the best player. Yeah, I mean, I gave it to Onana again, just because I don't know, he made some big saves for us too, in my opinion, and I don't fault him on the goal at all. So,
no, 100%, can't fault Onana on the goal. XG wise, it was 1.27 to Bologna, 1.02 for us. So it was deserved win for Bologna. It's not one of those ones where we they got lucky, we created enough, we should have won. It was one of those that a draw would have been a good result if we got a draw out of this game. And they just outfought us, and obviously we're not surprised about these stats anymore. They out-dribbled us 13 compared to our 8. I don't even know who.
It's so crazy. Yeah, who were the 8 for us? Like that's, I wish I could see that.
Definitely wasn't Dumfries. Dumfries.
Yeah, don't get me. I was very upset with his performance.
Well, actually, my plan was different actually for this video. I was going to start with interviews, but then now that we already got into the game, I'm going to pull up the screenshots. But it was Aris Bastoni was a very sad. On my channel, people were asking like, Sharma, should I wake up to watch this game tomorrow morning? Like, especially you guys in America, you have to wake up real early for this one. If you woke up to watch this, like, you took a big L, unfortunately. But shouts out to people who did. Did you wake up for this early?
Yeah, I did. I was up. Thank goodness I'm on the East Coast, so I got to wake up at 6:15. I woke up, and then I feel bad for anybody in California because that would have been 3:15 in the morning if they got up for this match. And I knew as soon as I saw the pitch and the condition that I was like, this is going to be a terrible game for us. Like, there's just nothing good's going to come from this, and it was exactly that. So.
Yeah, no. Shouts out to Huyan in the house as well in the comment section.
Huyan.
Yeah. One thing I'm seeing in the comments now, Gianni. Let's cover it. Okay, let's cover it straight away. Inzaghi, should he be fired or not right now?
Right now, I'd say no. Like, what are we going to get in the middle of the season that's going to be any better? What are we going to do? Just promote Kivu? Like, we don't know how good he's going to do. He's not doing good with the Primavera side.
Yeah, that brother's struggling in Primavera.
Yeah, so like the last thing I want is to promote him. And then who's left? Iachini? Like, we just keep recycling these guys that shouldn't be managers to begin with. No, I think you ride it out to the end of the season. And who knows, maybe at the end of the year, he's probably going to be fed up with the situation, not being able to bring in, reinforcements and always having to risk his, best players every summer. He may want to go, and take another adventure. So I think you have to tough it out with him. The only saving grace with him is how good he is in cup competitions. Like, he seems to always get him up and motivated to perform in those games. And I actually think it was Sean who said it best in one of the spaces, that he should probably just manage the national team, the Italian national team, because that's probably where he would do best. So,
but
I
then you
think
wouldn't be able to get them out of the group stage.
Fair, yeah, and he probably wouldn't even get him to qualify, if we're being honest. So, I don't think you're going to find a better option this season, and see who's available in the summertime, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't see the point of people saying Inzaghi out right now. I think, if we look to the interviews like today, Morata talked about it. I mean, I've been saying for a while. I think something, since the Udinese game, not this last one, when we lost Udinese. Like, to me, I just don't see. Even though he signed a new contract, I think his contract's still 2025.
Is it 2025? Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's 2025.
So he's still got, still quite a long-term contract when it comes for a manager. I don't see him. I just don't see the fit, to be honest. And there's little things coming out in the media last few weeks. Like, there's always something coming out.
Yeah.
The Beppe Marotta media machine seems like it's turning. The wheels are turning. The cog is turning. And even his interview today, Marotta came out, had an interview with Sky Sport Italia, and pretty much, it was quite. Of course, he reiterated the faith in Inzaghi, but at the same time, it was quite, harsh on him. Inzaghi's a top young coach. He has everything it takes to succeed, and we've never lacked any faith in him. So this is just kind of the standard stuff. But where is it? There was one bit where he really focused down. Yeah, so we've done well in the cup competition, as we all say, but our most coveted goal is to win the Scudetto. So, like, people this season, I mean, okay, why are you laughing?
It's just, that's our most coveted thing, yet we're 18 points behind. Like, when's the last time we lost 7 games in a season?
Hey, have a guess. I have the stat ready for that.
Is it 15, 16?
Yeah, you have to go back to the Banta era for such a bad result. If my internet would let me load, or this website would load. It's always really slow, this website. It's a really good website, it's soccerstats.com, but it's so slow. Oh my God, please, let's load. There we are. So if we find it, I always like referring to this. So at the moment, we are, compared to last season, Gianni, we are -7 points compared to the exact same point last season, and -9 points compared to the Conte Scudetto winning season, and then -7 points from Conte's first season. And then
did I say 16, 17 or 15, 16? What? I forgot what I said now.
You said 15, 16.
Okay. All right. So I was off by season. All right.
Yeah. So this is 16, 17. That's the Frank de Boer. That's the Frank de Boer season. So since then, guys, we haven't lost 7 games until now. So you really are talking about Banta era type of form in some ways. The only saving grace is the fact that we don't draw. So we're getting, if we're not losing, we're winning. So that's the saving grace. Even goals wise,
somehow we're second. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a testament to Serie A more than us.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was about to say that. Yeah.
And then in terms of goals, this is our lowest scoring season since 2018-19 as well.
And that was what, the last year of Spalletti.
Yeah, that's the last year of Spalletti, when we were literally just playing cross and inshallah. That was just Icardi to Perisic to Icardi blindly. And in terms of goals against, you even have to go further back than the De Boer era, bro. You have to go back to Mazzarri era. 31 goals, 2014-15. That is Mazzarri, right? 2014-15.
Was that Mazzari? I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so because I've got that kit. I'm pretty sure that's the one. Because I think 2015-16 is Mancini came back. Yeah. That's when we had the Kondogbia Medel midfield.
And that, actually,
Filippo
yeah, that's
Melo.
when it says that's when Mancini took over middle of the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we finished 8th. Oh my.
So yeah, literally, in terms of goals against, this is the worst we've done since the peak banter era moment. So it's just worrying all around, Gianni. Worrying all around. We're not scoring enough. We're conceding too much.
No, we're not. And it feels like we're not even creating as much as we had in previous seasons. Like,
yeah, because I remember, like, even under Conte, when there used to be bad periods, it was always like, we were creating a lot, but we just weren't scoring. But now it's like, in this game, I will show you the screenshots. There was about like 2 or 3 chances, but it wasn't like clear cut chances.
Yeah.
And then the worst stat is, I bookmarked it. Let me see. Is the the goals that we've conceded away. So we are literally the 4th worst defense in the whole league when it comes to away goals. Only Salernitana, Cremonese, and Bologna are worse than us. So we're level on goals conceded with Spezia, Sassuolo, and we've done worse than some. Oh my days! I didn't see Sampdoria have done better than us.
I mean, gosh, that just makes me want to walk into traffic, to be honest, seeing these numbers. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I see one of the comments saying that we kind of overrate our own players, and I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's Inzaghi. I don't know if it's motivation from the players. Tony in our group chat, he stresses that, Skriniar has kind of, probably in the beginning of the season was already checked out and thinking about his next move and not really committed to the team. And maybe that's part of it too. When your supposed best defender and leader at the back isn't really there. And we've seen in some of his most recent performances that he just doesn't look like the Skriniar we know and remember. Between that and really the not getting the production from guys like Lukaku, and you're working your 30-plus-year-old players to the bone. It's going to be tough to be successful, and I think I was definitely blinded by my love of this club. I mean, as all of us are, but yeah. I really did think 12 points possible. Maybe we could a couple bad runs.
You were actually serious about that?
Bro, I was serious. Like 12 points, I thought not impossible. Once they had 15, I thought it was impossible. And I know it's only 3 points, but I was like 4.
I honestly thought you were trolling about that.
I mean, I was to an extent, yeah, for sure. How I feel about Napoli. So, yeah, but they are they listen. Hats off to them. They really are the strongest team. They win ugly games when you think it's ugly. They win beautifully. They have 2 of the best players in the league, definitely the best striker in the league, and Cavada has been obviously a revelation, and good for Spalletti. I love that guy. I didn't really want him to leave to begin with, even though I was happy when it was Conte. I didn't think he was realistically going to come, but he deserves it. He deserves a league title. The guy's been a warrior, and he's had late season collapses, but I think he's really figured it out this year to finally win it. So
yeah, good for them. And the funny thing is like the 2 guys that obviously is going to win the Scudetto this year. So Pioli last year and Spalletti are 2 guys that they're both in their late 50s, 60s. They've won nothing for most of their career apart from Spalletti won the Russian league.
Do we count that trophy?
So yeah, and then like both of them have won a Scudetto that it wasn't expected or asked by. Like Milan last season, they did not set out to win the Scudetto. No, that was not their aim. Their ownership was very happy getting top 4. Elliott was very happy with that. That's what they came in for. And then Napoli, the same thing. Napoli even said it at the beginning of the season, like they were like, they saw what Milan did, cut the cost, cut the wages, try to do that. But that they didn't want to like go out and be the Scudetto winners. Like obviously, they're not going to say we didn't try, but it wasn't like an aim.
The crazy thing with Napoli that upsets me, and not upsets me like because it's not. It upsets me because we can't do it. Is they were able to get rid of really all their elder players, make a profit on them, and then with the reinvestments that they made, they brought in younger, better talent.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what drives me crazy, is that we're not able to do stuff like that. You know, if
Yeah.
we want to cut, you know, a guy like, let's say, Dalbert, where he, you know, he gets injured and we're stuck with him forever. You know, Valentin Lazaro is going to be on loan forever. Correa, he's gonna be another Dalbert situation. It's like, my gosh, like,
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to like pay someone to get rid of him.
yeah, or we're gonna have to pay to end his contract the way we've done with, you know, Vidal and Sanchez and
The Jean Mario.
for a club that can't make money to have to pay people to leave, that's even worse, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, good for those two guys. Obviously, you know, I liked Pioli when he was here, and I also love that he's an Interista. Well, was an Interista, and then, you know, you got Spalletti too. So it is what it is, though.
Yeah, it definitely is. But going back to that point, so let's say, like, you know, what Napoli did and what Milan did, like the summer before, and then Morata comes out and says this today in terms of. Today, we aim to finish the season best possible way. Our sporting director, Ausilio, is doing concrete work to identify roles and players, obviously talking about for next season. We are working in this direction to ensure that there's also, so next year's team is also a competitive team. The question is, Gianni, like I'm going to ask this in the most simple way possible. Do you trust Morata and Ausilio to do what Napoli and Milan have done these past summers?
Do I trust them? Yes. Do I think they'll do it? No, because of our ownership, to be honest. Like,
no, I mean, like, you know what the palettes are in terms of like getting, you know, we have to do a plus net income, you know,
I think it's
transfer.
30 million right now.
Yeah. So you already know, like they already know what they need to do in terms of that. Oh, so you mean like in terms of reinvestment?
Yeah. Like, I mean, yes. Do I think they could identify the talent and they've been looking at talent? Yeah, of course. I mean, we heard from the interview with Bergomi and Nima, you know, that they did identify Kim Min-jae as a potential person to replace Skriniar had we sold him. And that's great that you identify these players, but if you're not able to go and purchase them, you know, like, even if we didn't sell Skriniar, the fact that we couldn't get him or Bremer done, that's the problem I have, is we just don't, I mean, we couldn't even get Alan Maturo for 4 million, you know, like he went to Genoa. So it's great that we may have the people who can identify the talent and scout it, but are we ever going to be able to bring these players in? Like, that's what I don't trust. So cool. Like, you do all this effort. Like, I'm sure Dario Bacin is doing fantastic work with finding young, talented players to potentially bring.
He's been flying to Argentina for like getting nice dinners, nice hotels, I'm sure,
like
for a while.
Taking out Alcaraz, and then I see him, next thing I know, he's on a plane to Southampton, you know, like,
yeah, I'm sure he's got like PDF reports of many interesting players.
Yeah. So like, that's the thing that frustrates me, you know. I mean, if I knew we had a clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, my internet's playing up a bit, so I think I'm getting like a little lag.
No worries.
Yeah, mine, because I can see the bar, like the latency bar going up and down. Sorry, you just finish your sentence.
Yeah, no, like, I forgot what he was going to say though, but like, yeah, at the same time, if we just can't get if we can't have any money to bring these players in, then what's the point of being able to scout these guys and you know, identify players that can be a potential fit and use to us if we can't really even reinvest in the squad? So
yeah, but at the same time, like I've been thinking about this, like we talked about, you know, the Julian Alvarez thing and the Enzo thing, because, you know, even Zanetti's confirmed that Inter were in for these guys. But at the same time, like, I know we do talk about the lack of reinvestment, which is very, very true. But at the same time, Gianni, we still are the second highest paid team in the league. So like these guys are still paid. Like we all like to make, oh, you don't pay these guys, or like Zhang doesn't pay players, whatever, those jokes. Like, you know, he's got these guys on, you know, they'll pay you later type of contracts. But these guys still, after Juventus, with the highest paid team, Hakan, when he renews, he's going to be paid higher than any of Milan's midfielders. He already is. He's paid higher than Benacer, Tonali. A lot of these guys earn more than guys that are winning the Scudetto right this season. Like Kvara will earn a fifth of what a lot of our guys do. So it's not like we're a cheap project either. And then we are still spending money. Like, we spend the Lukaku loan. That's costing us 20 million this season when
that's the dumbest investment. Like that.
Yeah.
See, I guess that's my problem. Is that when we do have, all right, so yes, I agree with you. Yes, we do have the second highest, pay wage, of clubs in Italy, but it's the way we invest the money that is my problem. And I'm sure there's part of it to blame with Marotta and Auxilio in some ways. I think I think to some extent, we know we have to overpay on the free transfers just to get them to come here. Because we're competing against maybe some EPL clubs, or we're competing against other Serie A clubs. When you see a guy like Hakan is going to be making more, and although I think he's worth the money at this point, obviously and I think a lot of us in the summertime even agreed that the money that we used towards Lukaku should have gone towards Dybala. And I feel like he would have fit the team much better, and it wouldn't have cost us as much as it's costing for Lukaku. And then if you think about it, which is crazy to me. So let's say we signed Dybala. That probably would have left us, an extra $10-12 million to spend. And there's your money for Alcaraz. That's literally what the transfer cost for Southampton there. So,
that's what I mean, bro. Like, as much as we say that the ownership it is very limiting, but at the end of the day, the decision making.
Do you think it's all? I guess it could be split out different, but do you think it's all on Marotta and Auxilio, or do you think that Zhang, because he had such a good relationship with Lukaku, that obviously, like I know what they tell us in the media, right? But like, do you think that Zhang had more of a hand in that decision than one of the other guys would have?
Yeah, I'm sure, like he probably even stepped into the negotiations with Bowley himself or something. I'm sure. Some because it had to be done so quickly as well. Like it had to be done before the end of June because of the growth decree. So I'm sure some strings were pulled to make that deal happen. But again, like even after that, there was still like room. And then Alexis, as much as we love Alexis, and I know a lot of people even regret letting Alexis go, but he dragged his feet a lot. If there was going to be potentially that room if he moved away quicker to bring in both, because that was the plan. They weren't just looking to bring in just Lukaku. It wasn't either Lukaku or Dybala. The plan was Lukaku and Dybala. Then no one came in for Correa, which shock. But then Sanchez waited too long to make his decision, rescind his contract. Marseille came quite late for him. Like he was waiting for like a big team, he kept saying. So that those kind of things didn't fall into place. And then obviously it's the free transfers. Like you can't blame those kind of like are still working. Those free transfers, as much as we like to criticize the squad age. Yeah, the average squad age is too old. On a few games, I think was it against Udinese or against Cremonese, it was like our average age was 31 years of age. Oh no, it was the game what was the game that Handanovic played in recently? That was the game.
The Udinese game.
Yeah, Udinese game. So it was 31 years of age, bro. 30.9 average age that game was. So that's squad building. Like that's not on Inzaghi. As much as you want to blame Inzaghi, that squad building, clearly there's something wrong with the squad building, the planning. And Inzaghi's system is so intensive, like we don't have anyone that beats a player or goes past anyone. We have to have like 6-7 players every time we attack. We have to have 6-7 players. We have to have an overlap from the wing back. Then we have to have the underlap from the center back. And we have to have the overlap from the other side from the other wing back. And then we cross it in. And then we have to have 3 or 4 guys in the center. That's how Inter score. It's such an intensive system to create a chance. And you give Inzaghi a team that's built of 33-year-olds who, can barely hold themselves on their feet. So as much as Marotta today, came out and said like, statements, but he's also got to look at himself and the work that him and Auxilio have been doing to build this squad, that it's not good enough all around.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not good enough. I mean, I've always wanted to go the younger route and bring in, young talent that hasn't been proven and has, maybe something to grow on. Because that's the thing too. If you buy one of these older players and they don't work out, the resale value isn't going to be there. If you buy, a younger player, there's still potential to not. I mean, at least get your money back. Like somebody may want to take a chance on whomever. And when you look at the financial situation that we're in, if you take a risk on a younger player, it could still be beneficial for you. Whereas if you do it with one of these free guys, like yeah, you may be able to make a 100% profit on them. That doesn't mean that you're going to get much out of it. Like even if we went and sold Mkhitaryan, let's say next summer, right? What are we going to get? Maybe 2-3 million
No,
euros
no,
tops. Like
you're gonna have to pay him. Like you want to get rid of
yeah,
Mkhitaryan, you're still
exactly.
gonna
You're
have
not
to
going to
pay
get
him.
you're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries me too, though, is if as much as I want to invest in young players and be able to make them plays, we've seen with Inzaghi's hesitancy to play younger players.
Oh yeah.
I mean, outside of really what Milinkovic Savic, has he really trusted in a younger player to really, when being brought in to allow them to play and grow? I mean, I haven't seen it at Inter, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But
I've had this argument with or debate with Nima, and he was quite right. At Lazio was like, there was a few other ones as well that he did. But yeah, in general, I wouldn't say I wasn't convinced. His track record, yeah, with young players isn't stellar for sure. But at Inter, like, yeah, the only two ones he has at Inter really are Aslani and Bellanova. Bellanova isn't ready, but at the same time, the way Inzaghi's used him as well, it hasn't helped him to be ready. Just as we expected after that Empoli game, bro. Like we knew when that Empoli game when he came on after he got booed off, we knew we're not going to see this guy, are we, till the end of the season now? Bellanova, he's probably done.
I'd be surprised if we saw him, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like
So that's bad.
I
That's bad management from him, throwing him on in that game when you're 10 men down and then he gets killed by the crowd. And yeah, San Siro literally just crushed Bellanova. I've seen so many careers being crushed like that over the years at San
yeah.
Siro. And then Aslani is one that he frustrates me a lot with. At the beginning of the season, I backed him when he said that I see him as the vice Brozo, I see him as a CDM. I was like, okay, at least that means he's specializing him in that role. He's not moving him around all over the place. So I was like, fine, fair play. And then obviously the Hakan situation arises after. So he wasn't the vice Brozovic anymore. He was the vice Brozovic. But then it's like this guy through youth Empoli teams, he played as an attacking midfielder, as a mezzala. Even against Inter when we played him last season, he played in an attacking role. So it's not like he can't play the other midfield roles.
Yeah.
So but he's fixated with him just being a CDM. So now is we haven't seen him, and even I think we haven't seen him since like the Cremonese game, which actually he came on and he did really well in that game as a substitute. So it doesn't make any sense to me his lack of minutes to Aslani. And even with Nemo talked about, he compares him to Tonali, but it was like you can't compare him to Tonali. Tonali got so many minutes, he got allowed
Yeah.
to make so many mistakes or learn his trade, whereas Aslan is not even getting the chance to do that.
And even Neiman's argument, like I didn't want to chime in with that whole thing, but when he was saying that Tonali has had 2.5 years experience with Brescia at that point,
Yeah,
okay, but like the first year and a half was with Serie B.
yeah,
So like all right, so he had 1 full year under his belt in Serie A before he made the move to Milan. I mean, 8 months is what Aslani basically had at Empoli. So you're going to tell me that 2 extra months of in games of in season play really made that big of a difference in Tonali's growth? I don't know about that, and to not even give him a chance. And the thing that kind of surprised me too with the Bologna game, he put Carboni on before he put Aslani on. And don't get me wrong, I was happy to see Carboni come on. I mean, you're needing a goal, so yeah, maybe you want to bring an attack-minded player, but like you said, we've seen Aslani play every position in the midfield for Empoli. He's been able to play pretty much every position for us too, and with
and you
Inter.
can see he's got those attacking tendencies.
Yeah, and he's he is a little bit of a techie player. He's got a bit of a shot on him. I don't know. I mean, I was kind of surprised with that, and I feel like what if Carboni totally crashed in that moment too and was a total bust? Now you ruin a 17-year-old. It's just, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand some of the decisions, but I mean, we really, we like I said, we don't have any better options out there. So you kind of have to ride it out at this point.
Yeah, no, 100%. As we said, like within Zog, he's always like, as much as like under Morata, he would have been gone like so long ago. He would have been gone after the first like
Probably
few
the first
games.
8 games. Yeah, like
Yeah.
at most he would have
3-1 away at Udinese, he would have been gone. So, but we're in different times right now. Even other Italian presidents anymore don't behave like that anymore. It's different era. Apart from the Salernitana guy who brought back the heritage with he fired Nicola and then brought him back.
brought him back 2 days later.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where like we have to be patient with him because we don't have, as you said, we don't have options. And then yeah, he's like the UCL plus Coppa Italia stuff is like keeping him into this job. Otherwise, like the league stuff for 2 years now has not been good enough. And again, this year, I just hope we don't leave it to. What do you think? Huyan asked the question earlier in terms of, are you worried about the top 4 situation? Even if, and if Juve get those 15 points back as well.
I mean,
that's going to be sticky if that happens.
If Juve get the 15 points, I'm worried. If they don't, look, realistically, I don't think at this point, we have Milan's number. I don't think that they would beat us. Again, when you think about Roma, maybe, maybe if they get hot at the right time, but Lazio is going to be a tough team for them as well. So with the way we're cannibalizing each other, to be honest, I don't think that we're going to have to really worry about top 4. Napoli's already got it. Like, it's over. So really we have to, it's between us, Roma, Lazio, and Milan really for the last 3 spots. And I think that out of those 4, again, it all depends on if Juve get the 15 points back or not. But if they don't, I think that we are the strongest squad out of those. And I also think that the upcoming match with Juve will be very telling of our standings in the top 4. If we lose to them, then maybe hit a little bit of a panic button. Maybe not hit the panic button, but I'll raise the alarm, just kind of warn us that, hey, this could be bad. So
yeah, no, definitely. It's so like, we just haven't seen that growth. Like I'm actually quite like overall, like I think the Inzaghi, like I'm happy with what Inzaghi has done at this club. Obviously, I don't think I'll be able to ever to forgive what happened last year. Especially seeing what Milan are doing this season is like, it makes it worse.
At the end of the season, I was happy with what we got out of it. I was disappointed we didn't get the second star, but I was like, all right, we got a Supercoppa and a Coppa Italia. But now looking at how this Milan is playing and how reliant they were on Leao and Magnan, it's like, how the hell did we lose to them? Like, I'm not trying to take away any from them. Like, hats off to them for being able to win it, especially with, I mean, I guess when you have no pressure, maybe it makes it easier. No expectations. You can kind of just, you're playing with house money at that point. Thank you, Mo. Yes, I did have to invest in the podcast here, but
out to Mo for sure. And he says, I don't know about that. I think Inzaghi is destined for bigger jobs. I think he's gonna, I think he's gonna go to Premier League. I think big clubs are gonna come calling for Inzaghi. Juve were like big fans of Inzaghi before he came to Inter. He was like linked to Juve multiple times when he was at Lazio. So I think he is going to be one of the better. So I disagree with that, with Mo on that one.
I mean, I hope that Nima's wrong.
Well, in terms of the next Italian super coach.
No. With like, he thinks that we might actually switch managers with Juve next year. Like Allegri comes to Inter and Inzaghi goes to Juve. I mean, it probably is. I would cry if we got him because
I mean, Allegri is the guy I wanted after Conte.
Is he really? I wanted Mourinho. After Conte
I don't want to touch Mourinho's legacy at Inter. I think
that's the only thing I was afraid of. Yeah, it was him like tarnishing his legacy. But I didn't want Allegri, to be honest. I wanted Mourinho, and then I got on board with the Inzaghi idea because he played a back 3, and I thought that okay, it'll be the easiest transition for the squad, and we don't have to really have that big of a revolution. So
I think there's managers out there like even now like Mourinho is still getting linked to us again recently. The
I don't
problem
see that
is,
happen.
yeah, the problem is like again, he is the highest paid in the league with Allegri. So again, there's that. It's just the wages. There's that. Then if we let Inzaghi go, then we have to pay him off unless you get a mutual agreement. Which I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, how things are going as well. One thing I want to touch on actually, Inzaghi himself in the post-match, Gianni, which was quite interesting. I mean, they asked him about the away goal situation and how Inter just keep dropping the ball after big matches. And I don't know if he said tongue in cheek, but the whole answer was quite straight face. So I don't think he said in tongue in cheek, but he basically said, I'm not able to keep the team level on a consistent basis. Like he just admitted his own, like we always want that, but we don't usually see managers admitting their own downfalls. Is he just basically kind of, yeah, like you said, maybe throwing the towel in, or he's got a job lined up for next year? Like it seems like he's almost embraced his the end of his time at Inter at the end of the season. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, those words were not the most reassuring in a lot of ways, and I think that he may be looking to the EPL himself. To be honest, he may see an opportunity there for obviously to get more money into. I mean, realistically, any team that in the EPL, he'll have money to spend on transfers. That's the funny thing at this point. I would be fed up. Like I would not blame him, and given the situation that he's been put in where he's had to lose best players almost every year, he's had the situation where he was, promised players to come in, they don't come in, he gets the squad ready, anticipating Bremer to be, the addition. Nothing comes. And then now it's, you're losing your best defender on paper, essentially, Skriniar, and he's going to go through it again next summer where somebody's going to have to leave. It's insane to me. I don't get. I wouldn't blame him, is what I mean. That he, if he decides to go, because who would want to work in this type of situation? And we see the rumors about De Zerbi, that he's supposedly unhappy with Brighton's. So I don't want De Zerbi, and what's he going to do here? We're going back to a back four, and we don't have anybody. We don't have a right back.
If he's unhappy with Brighton spending,
he's going to be more pissed here.
Yeah,
and then he has nobody to play positions that the way he would want to play, unless we brought back Sensi for him, which.
And I think he's got like a 14 million release clause or something in his contract.
Okay, yeah, we can't even afford to pay 12 for a player. We're going to spend 14 on a manager.
It's one of those things. Yeah, I still want to see more from De Zerbi. Like again, just because he's doing good at Brighton, as I said even before when he was a free agent, it doesn't mean that he's going to do. That's the thing. Inter, guys, there's levels to the game. Like managing Sassuolo and Brighton is not the same as managing it. This is what like we talk about. Inzaghi he's a Lazio level coach. That's why he should like Lazio just that few steps below Inter, whereas Sassuolo, Brighton, you're talking about multiple steps below. So there's
not to mention the chaos with management here. Like to be able to manage that whole situation on top of the players and dealing with the fans, that's a whole different thing. So
yeah. What's up, Old Heart Rossonero? Make sure you guys check him out. Another Milan content creator like Martino Puccio. Make sure you guys check him out, friends of the channel. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I had these screenshots. I don't know if you want to go through them now. We've had already so much painful conversation. Oh yeah, this one when we're talking about Dumfries, bro. This guy. In the 11th minute. So guys, just follow Dumfries here. Yeah. So he's not even in his position right now. There was like, I don't know where he's playing. He's playing like right center mid right now. So the ball moves around. It will go to Ferguson, like top on the top of your screen in a moment. I think from Cambiaso. He passes it to him. So he's supposed to be, now that he's in that position, he needs to be screening from Musa Barrow from receiving the ball or mark someone. He's not marking anyone right now. And then look, he goes. He's in no man's land, and he leaves Musa Barrow completely unmarked. De Vrij half steps out to get him, but that's like Dumfries is. He's like, I know you don't like him, Gianni, like in general, but there's been a big drop off in Dumfries. Like compared, you have to admit, like Dumfries was actually good for us last season, but this season he's been like the drop off in form in this guy is really worrying. Like even you as a Dumfries hater, you have to admit that this isn't like even before Dumfries, this is not the right form.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when Dumfries is at his best, though, he gives me Mycon vibes. So
You think?
you don't think so?
You think so?
Dude, I mean, yeah, like last year, yes, I will say that there was moments where I thought we had a player, to be honest, and I thought that he would be able to improve. But then we kind of recognized like what his level is. He kind of plateaued. He didn't improve on that. This season, I didn't really have any expectations on him either. And like you said, it seems to be getting worse. I wish we would have. I know we wouldn't have reinvested in January had we, taken an offer from somebody. But I feel like you should have sold him once you had that buzz on him after the World Cup. That was when his value was going to be peak. And nothing else was going to, it's only going to get worse. And you see that we continue to start Darmian, even sub him out for D'Ambrosio, who his mistake led on to the goal. I mean, it's kind of crazy, that the level that he's dropped off. It's sad, and I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or what, but I think it's best to just sever those ties as quickly as possible, to be honest.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's just like becoming harder and harder to envisage. Even with Premier League clubs wasting money, it's just becoming harder and harder to see.
Yeah, I don't know who's buying him. Yeah,
like because Chelsea bought that Malo Gusto, Man United, but like if they renew Dallo, maybe that's gone as well.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping that we can get Dalot. So.
So it's becoming the candidates for Dumfries is starting to dry up at the moment. So
I mean, it's like, do you send them back to PSV and ask for an IOU? Like I don't know, I don't know at this point.
That would be like their record signing if they do that.
Can you imagine?
Oh man, yeah. No, it's been worrying his fall off in general. But yeah, yesterday it was just like they were kicking our ass in the first half. It was 0-0 at half time. But the first half was the one that was really bad. We were actually a little bit better in the second half, not much better, but they kicked our ass in. It was good that Dominguez was called offside here. Even bloody Barrow, who hadn't scored, who's got like 3 goals all season, obviously had to like turn into prime Batistuta yesterday. This one as well. Soriano.
Yeah.
This again, look what Dumfries is. Nowhere near him.
Yep. He's like, go ahead, take your shot.
We were lucky that hit the crossbar. And then, we had like a few chances here and there. Hakan, this one was a good one where Gosens like put it back to him.
And Gosens was amazing on that play. The work rate he put into that opportunity was, I mean, it was a little surprising even for me. Like I've defended him. I mean, I feel like he's not up to level either, but.
Yeah, no. Yesterday, that's what I was saying. Like in terms of that, yesterday's game was one of those games that you need physicality, grinta, like that's what you need. Like if you don't have technical ability, like him that's why Dumfries yesterday was extra disappointed with him. That should have been a game for Dumfries to use his superior physicality and like just his general ability to get into the box. That he should have made it count yesterday, whereas Gosens did that on the other side. And he should have had a couple of assists. Matty Doms there came through for us as well in the second half. Nana looks like he had it covered, but you never know where his save could have gone there. So
yeah, it probably would have gone. I don't know if that's Orsolini at the top there, but I mean, he might have. No, he was actually being kept onside by. Is that Dumfries?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
So if that ball went right to Orsolini, easy tap-in goal.
Yeah, exactly. So Matty Doms stepping up. Yeah, if I had to save any players from yesterday, it wasn't Matty Doms and Gosens. Those are the only two. And then Lautaro as well. I mean, Lautaro. I want to talk about Lautaro. I mean, he used the thumbnail for this video. Like he's stepped up as the captain yesterday, Gianni. Like this thing about giving the captaincy to the senior thing. Like I've always talked about it. Brozovic, he doesn't want, like, if you're a captain, you have to do interviews. You have to be like, you have to step up in front of the cameras. You have to speak. I can count on one hand since Brozovic has been at Inter, the interviews he's done. Like I can literally picture the interviews he's done because he's only done Like he's done one press conference in Champions League once, and he's done like a couple of post match. That's it. This
If
guy
I'm
does
not
not.
mistaken, he hasn't done it since Conte, right?
Yeah. So he like for just like it's a basic thing, but he can't be captain for that, because if you're
Yeah.
going to be captain, you have to speak to the media, and that's what Lautaro did yesterday. And I loved what he said. I mean, he wasn't good yesterday either, but he, as always, he puts the work in, which you can never take that away from him. But he said we won't get anywhere like this, and I want the players to tattoo this on their face, on their forehead. And he was quite like, you know, they were asking him in post match in Sky Sport Italia, like, you know, he was quite, you know, straight up with it. He was like, yeah, I'll tell my teammates in their face. Because he was like, oh, yeah, you say this to us in the interview, but will you say that to your teammates? Like, yeah, I have no problem saying that in the dressing room. If only we had 11 Lautaros and Darmians in this team.
Yeah, it's a little disheartening too when you see a lot of the older players who you think would be lead. I mean, you know, most of these guys have been captains at other places. You know, you look at De Vrij was captain at Feyenoord. He had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he had games where he wore the captain's armband at Lazio.
Probably.
You know, I mean, Dumfries has been a captain, you know, at PSV. Skriniar had moments, but obviously I think we've all know he's checked out.
Yeah.
You know, you have leaders within the locker room. What's going on there? Like, is there just some kind of disconnect between, you know, are there little factions within the club, within the squad? I mean, that you know, they just don't get along. They don't want to. I don't know. Like, it looks like when they celebrate goals, everyone gets along well, and there is communication there, and there is excitement and joy in those moments. But like when things are going bad, it feels like you have nobody who can rally the team and be able to galvanize them and make them want to play at a different level and pick up their games. You know,
I think the thing I hope wasn't true, it became true about these players, Gianni. Like, they have to have a Conte that's playing them like he's using a joystick, telling them exactly what they need to be doing, telling them don't go up. Like for the goal, Bastoni being like 65 meters up the pitch, like, you know, Conte would have said to him, you know,
yeah,
you're not a striker, chill the fuck down. Like they need that sergeant. I thought, you know, we had that for 2 years. Maybe the mentality's changed now. These guys have grown. They don't need that anymore. But yeah, they've proven me wrong, Gianni. These guys need to be babied. They need a guy that is the opposite of what Inzaghi is. They need a guy that's keeping them on their toes week in, week out. That's challenging them. That's like, you know, screaming at them. Because clearly the nice guy, the modern approach that Inzaghi has doesn't work with these guys.
I mean, I see Huyan's question there about Conte. That's an interesting one, and I kind of piggyback off that. Would you want him, or would you even consider someone? Do you think we're at a point where we've kind of gotten the most we could out of a 3-5-2, and maybe it's time to switch to a back four and bring in someone like a Conceição or Simeone? I mean, we know we don't have the money, but like, you know what I mean, like that kind of. I don't know if I could watch that if we did that, but
pure Brexit ball.
Jeez, bro, can you imagine like 18% possession and then yeah, I wonder if that's maybe the next step that we should take, if it's even a realistic one, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think Conte is the way to go. Obviously, we won't be able to get the players that he wants, but maybe Conceição wants to take that challenge next. You know, I was impressed with his game plan, you know, against us in the first leg. I think that he went with the right mindset and the right strategy, you know, especially having Otavio be like a menace out there. And really, it looked like he was trying to get Lautaro and Bastoni to pick up another yellow, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, I feel like he's like, hey, let's get one of them to get another yellow, so they missed the second leg, and then we'll take it from there. Which I thought, you know, was a good idea. And Otavio played that role perfectly. You know, I mean, I'm glad he got his second yellow, though, so we don't have to deal with him with the second match. But, you know, it would be pretty interesting to see like what could happen, you know, with a manager like that. I feel like he probably has a point to prove, given what he had, you know, in his playing career with Inter. You know, it didn't really pan out the way he wanted, so maybe he wants to do it as a manager here, you know, and who knows. The only thing with that is, like with Huyan saying, you know, you miss having fast wingers. We probably don't have the money to bring in fast wingers. So we would really have to find a way to revolutionize the whole squad, and that would be a whole other task in itself. So,
but for me, like, if you are gonna do it, like, I think we have had this formation. We've been stuck. The thing is, we're not even like, we've been literally stuck with this formation for like 4 years. It's not even we've had coaches. We had 2 coaches who live and die by this formation. Not even like, guys that, sometimes I'll switch up. We've had 2 like, Jehovah's Witnesses of 3-5-2. So it's one of those ones. I think, if you're gonna do it this summer, to me, is the perfect summer in terms of, because we have so many expiring contracts, especially at the back. You've got De Vrij, D'Ambrosio expiring. You got like these centre backs that are expiring, because usually, when you have 3 centre backs, you have to have more centre backs. So you already have that, playing in your favor, that you don't need necessarily to, keep all the centre backs. And then, obviously you need to invest in some wingers, but at the same time, then you have to get rid of some wing backs, so you can get rid of the Dumfries or for Gosens. You can do that and reinvest that into wingers. But again, how much of that will be reinvested? That's the issue.
Exactly. That's what makes it difficult, is not knowing where it could go from there. So
but no, Conceição is definitely. I mean, he was along the guys I wanted even before Inzaghi came already. So now he's got even 2 years under his belt, even more. So I'm all in the Conceição train if that's possible. In terms of character, that's exactly the opposite of Inzaghi, the sergeant that some of these players clearly need. 100%. One thing I wanted to do, Gianni, of course you can, as Eduardo says, we'll plug the pod as well afterwards before you go. But one thing, so if people remember, in my previous preview before Bologna, to try to get to 5K, which we're not quite there, guys. We're not quite there. What are we on right now? We're not quite there. I was trying to push the 5K with the giveaway, but we still haven't made it. We are on 4.98, so we still got about 20 to go. But we're going to do the giveaway anyway. So anyone that commented on that Bologna preview was entered into and thumbs up, and you have to be subscribed. You were entered into the draw for today. So we're going to do this live with Gianni, so he can just prove that I'm not tricking people.
It's funny, guys, because he already told me I won. So
that would be mad if you actually did.
That would be pretty funny. I probably would have to leave because people would probably think it was rigged. So,
right. So let me share my screen. So I've put the link in of that video into this YouTube random comment picker. So it's completely impartial, and I have no programming skills, so I have not done anything. So I'm gonna just press fetch, and it's gonna pick one of the comments from that video as the winner. There was over 100 entries, to be fair. So thank you, everyone.
Nice.
So you tell me, Gianni, when to go. You say go.
Yeah, go.
Oh, great. What's happening now? Fetch. Go, dog. Fetch. Oh, okay. Wait, technical difficulties. One moment. This is what happens when you do it live. Wait, that is the right link. Oh, wait. I have to press on the video actually to go into. Okay. Right. All right. Let's do this again. So, is that in? Okay. Say go, Gianni.
Let's go for it.
No, we're not allowing duplicates. We're not allowing the replies. Let's go. 113 comments. Pick a winner. Let's go. So the winner of the kit is Zeit Vogel. Never seen him before. I hope it's a regular. I hope they're subscribed. I will have to double check. That Zeit Vogel is a subscriber to the channel. But yeah, congrats, Zeit Vogel. Sounds like a German guy, right?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, you're familiar with the Bundesliga and the Germans, so might be you.
Clearly
might be a
not
burner.
that good though. Yeah, it's my Borna Sosa burner account.
That's where you upload the comps. Right. Well, congrats to Zeit Vogel. I will, if you are here, get in touch with me. Otherwise, I will try to find out who you are and all that good stuff. And yeah, of course, now I'm going to get accused that this is my cousin, that this is rigged, all that kind of stuff.
There it is. Well, Julian definitely. I mean, he's used to things being rigged against him. So
yeah, that is Gianni's burner. Yeah, it is.
It is, man. You go click it on my Borna Sosa comp videos on there.
Well, yeah, that was it, Gianni. We're hitting the hour mark as I promised. We're going to keep it to an hour. Please plug your podcast to the people. Let them know.
Yeah, it's called the InterViews podcast. You could find it on Apple or Spotify or whatever other platform you guys may be using. You could follow us on Twitter. It's interviews_pod, but it's a 0 for the O, P0D. And yeah, I mean, we also have an episode coming out Wednesday, myself and Alessandro, where we'll be, if you have any questions, anything that you want us to kind of talk about, we're just going to be really doing a random episode where we just kind of answer people's questions. So if you have anything that's kind of burning on your mind and you want to hear mine or Alessandro's insight on it, feel free to shoot us a question on the pod.
Yeah, no, I've listened to the first 2 episodes and yeah, it's quality. So make sure you guys check it out. Looks like Lazio won against Sampdoria, doing something we can't. It's good.
Great.
But yeah, thank you very much, Gianni, for coming on to the show. What's your prediction for the rest of the season? Where are Inter going to finish in the league and where are they finishing in the Champions League?
I'm going to say we're going to have finish 3rd in the league. I think someone might catch us, unfortunately, but we'll still finish top 4. And I'm going to say semifinals in the Champions League. I think that we've got the cup ties figured out. It's just 38 game season that Inzaghi hasn't gotten a grip on, unfortunately.
And Coppa Italia?
If he actually starts Handanovic like he says, so the rumor is against Juve, we're out in the semis. If he sticks with Onana, I'll say we'll win it again.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I think I predicted us to finish 2nd, and I think we'll get the worst possible team in the next round in the Champions League, so we'll go out in the next round.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's wait until we actually get past Porto to talk about that.
Yeah, that's key as well.
Yeah. But yeah, no, appreciate you, Gianni. Thank you, Mattia, who has been basically like a moderator in the comments today. Appreciate that a lot, reminding the people to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check out Gianni on Twitter at SourceGMP, and of course, Interviews Pod, as we said. Thank you, everyone, that tuned in. Thank you for the comments. Congrats to Zeitgeist, or what was that guy's name? Whatever.
Zeit Vogel? Zeit something?
Yeah, Vogel.
It's my burner, and I don't even remember the name, so.
But yeah, congrats on winning the Inter kit. Thank you, everyone, that tuned in. Ciao, ragazzi. Always Forza Inter. Thank you, my